You know what? I give up. I give up. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking right now, haven't you already given up? You haven't made a video in I don't even know how long it's been. But what I'm referring to is that I've just given up on trying to fix things with my mind. I've given up on the mind. I've given up on the ego. All I care about is being the pure awareness that I am, that we all are, the pure consciousness within. It's so hard when you're basically upgrading your spiritual maturity, you could say, because, especially in the dark night of the soul and things like that, because you're hit with those mind attacks or ego attacks. And I've just been having so many things happen to me, all because I'm identifying with my mind. I'm allowing fear of the past and future to creep in and just hold me captive, just trying to make sure everything's perfect instead of just doing what I'm doing now and giving up. I'm giving up, and it feels so good. Now I can actually do what I've been wanting to do without trying to make it so serious. Why do I make something like making a video, which takes, barely any time to do, something that I just can't seem to find the right motivation, the right circumstances to do? Because I'm worried about things with my mind. I'm worried about the reason I can't make a video right now, or what I'm gonna say, instead of just letting it flow like I'm doing now. And that's what made my videos so great, was that I was just talking from the top of my head, talking from my heart, not my head. And for a long time, I had that, feeling of just living in pure consciousness, not being trapped in my ego and whatnot. But somewhere along the line, as I started to, be around other people and whatever may have happened, I just got so caught in, it wasn't like ego in terms of oh, I want money and fame and all this. It was more just my mind was my biggest enemy. I've been my own biggest enemy, but it's not even me. See, what you have to realize is that you are the awareness. You're not the person that you think you are. You're not the mind that you have thought your whole life that you are. And because of your memories, your habits, the things that you hold on to, and the attention that you give to all those memories and, things that come into your awareness, the attention that you give them is what's keeping it going. The ego thrives off of your attention. And I know all this, right? It's not like this is new to me, but it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget who you truly are. And even in forgetting who you truly are, you're aware that you're forgetting. You're aware that you, now I can look back and say, wow, I was aware that I was having all of these thoughts race through my head, but they were never actually me. And that's what's required for a lot of us. And I would have never really gone on this journey of trying to get out of my mind had my mind not given me so many things to want to get away from. Why are my dogs barking? You could probably hear that. But it has been a difficult period of time for me, because I've let go of, all these addictions, smoking 2 different substances, some other things that I'll get into in future videos. But the point is, all of these things gave me hits of dopamine for so long that my brain was used to receiving that dopamine. And when it was taken away, it was just, it sent me downhill, man. It sent me in just a dark place, because it was so it was just so hopeless, and it made me feel so lonely. I had even hung out with friends more than I have probably since I had this channel, in these last few months since making my last video, and just even being around those people was like I was distracting myself from the truth. I was so worried about what they thought of me. It was, gosh, it just eats away at you. And it made me think that I was just more lonely than I really am. Like, you can be alone without being lonely. You can be lonely without being alone. You can be alone without being lonely. You can be lonely without being alone. That's true. Like, would you rather be alone and, just not trapped in thoughts, not trapped in everything that is causing you suffering? Or would you rather be surrounded by a bunch of people that are like triggering you? And I'm not saying to just avoid all people, but it was these type of things that I needed to become aware of. And, I'm no longer just like desperate for someone to hang out with, desperate for a relationship, because now I know that it will come when I really trust the universe, when I really just trust myself, which is the universe. But it's gonna be okay, man. The dark night of the soul, I swear it has hit me so many times. Moldavite probably contributes to that. I still wear it all the time. But I completely asked for all of this, and it's so easy to lose sight of all the great things in your life when you're stuck in one of these ruts, and you just can't seem to get out. No meditation, no spiritual practice that you used to love seems quite the same. It just seems like you're just hopeless, man. And until I just gave up and I just said, screw it, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm not my mind. It's not like I didn't know this, but like just completely just said, screw it. I'm just gonna do what I want. What I want. The true self doesn't want anything. The true self, it just is. You cannot understand your true self with your mind, and that's why it can be so difficult to explain, because it just is. Consciousness just is. Scientists cannot explain consciousness because it's just being. It's just what we all are. And it can seem like, being just seems kind of boring, like there's no fun in just sitting around being, just like, I'm just thinking about nothing. And I've thought that before too. It's like, I would rather distract myself with different things like drinking, smoking, watching movies, TV, listening to music, just distracting myself, video games, distracting myself. Not saying these things are bad. These are all just things that you use your mind with. And I found that I'd listen to music, and I love music, don't get me wrong, I still do. But it's like, the more that I would listen to certain music, the more that it would make me fall back into my old thinking patterns of like past memories and stuff, and it would just kind of bring me down, while also like I would enjoy my suffering. It's like I became addicted to thinking about these certain things, and that's the hardest addiction to overcome. I can overcome all these other addictions way easier. You just put it down, right? You just put it down. But you can't put your mind, well, you can get rid of your mind in a way, but you can't just completely get rid of it. It's always there. Your ego is always going to be there. It's there to help you survive. But until you integrate with that ego, you're never going to really have true peace. And yes, you can be happy. There's tons of people who are happy operating fully from their mind because that's what they believe they are. But if you're someone like me who gets depressed and like just like, I have like a very good life, but I can still like it feels like the whole world's coming down on me, and I can't even make a video just because I'm so trapped in my freaking mind. And I make videos about this. It's like, it's not like I don't have any knowledge of the fact that I'm not my mind, but it's so easy to just lose sight of everything sometimes. So I just want to remind you, if you're going through that right now, just focus on your breath. I know it sounds simple, just and breathe out. When you breathe out all the thoughts, breathe out all identification, breathe out all things that keep you tied to that keep you tied to your ego. Breathe it out. Do it with me. And consciousness creates unconsciousness to become more conscious. I don't know if that's right, but you get what I'm saying. It's like your higher self, whatever construct you'd like to use. You created a lot of these situations where you went down, you did some stupid stuff, you didn't realize, you weren't present, so that you could become more present, so that you could see it now from a different perspective. And this is all part of this journey of growth that we're on. And man, is it a crazy journey. I believe that's why we're here on Earth, is to learn the school that we're on, this Earth school. And funny enough, the school that they put us in is a bunch of programming, keeping us away from the real learning. They feed everyone with stuff to keep them trapped in a box, and that's why most people, laugh at the idea that, most of the ideas that I talk about on here, they laugh at stuff that's actually the truth, because they can't understand it from the perspective of the mind. And so that's why you can't force people to get you. That's been my biggest problem, is nobody gets me, and I'm so worried about what they're going to think of me, or if they do know that I talk about this, they're like, what? It's like you can't explain it, because the only way you can explain it is to guide them in the direction of something that's unexplainable. You can only lead people to the unexplainable, to something that cannot be defined. But that is what's within every single person. That's what's watching this video from a deeper perspective. It's not the thing telling you all these thoughts in your head. That's the mind. You're the one seeing those thoughts. And I'm just happy I gave up, dude. I'm just happy I gave up. Hopefully I will, stick with these videos, because it really does bring me happiness. It's just been so hard for me to get on camera and even say anything, because I didn't feel like my old self, man. I didn't feel like the person that started this channel anymore. And it was scary. It was like, will I ever even be able to make a video again? Will I ever be able to do this again? Like, holy crap. I can do it still. I can still do it. It feels good. And hopefully you can take some inspiration from this video. I know I was talking about myself a lot, but I'm also trying to be an example. I'm trying to be the change that I wish to see in the world. I love you all. Peace out. Universal crystals, baby. Legends of our time.